Hey, welcome. It's another edition of Taptico Talks or Taptico Teaches.
Teach Dave Learns AI is what we're going to call it.
Yeah, we can call it that too.
That's your name in the title, Dave. Why would you not want that? Let's talk about it. Does it make you feel dumb?
I don't want it to be about me.
It is about you.
You're
the host.
That is true. And it is about me trying to figure out how to learn some of this stuff.
Right. And you're learning on behalf of all the people that are going to be watching this.
And that's why we are here today.
Right. Exactly. And you say, Dave Learns AI. Be like Dave.
Be like Dave. Learn AI
That's
like
right.
me.
See? It's a whole t-shirt. We can do a whole campaign around it. Are you Dave? I'm Dave, bro. And then all of a sudden you become the figurehead and the face of a movement of small business owners rising up against those conglomerates, those evil spirited ne'er-do-wells. And then what do, Dave? You learn AI and you take them all out. And then all of a sudden, David versus Goliath comes together.
How are you in marketing?
I'm really high.
All right, then. Well, fantastic. Well, we are here to teach AI stuff. Really.
Yeah.
It's ultimately what it is. Nick is the founder of Taptico Solutions. For you who might be tuning in for the first time. And going to talk a little bit about AI and not only the tools, but also basic definition stuff. Because there are, like we talked about last time, there are people who are like, I don't really know what an LLM is.
Right.
I don't know what a RAG is. I don't know what N8N is. Those types of things. So
good pull on the last one.
N8N. All right. So we're going to start real basic. In simple terms, what's the difference between AI automation and an agent?
Well, you don't have to say AI automation. You could just say automation for one.
Okay.
I'm just
Thank you for helping me. Hey,
I'm helping you out, Dave.
Yeah, Dave
and
learns AI.
And all the Daves out there.
Yeah.
Are you a Dave? You're about to be.
What is it?
Who is it?
It's me, Dave.
It's me, Dave. So an automation versus an agent. An automation is something that you set and it follows rules and it does not make decisions. And it's if this, then this, then this. So an automation that you've used a million times is flushing a toilet. You do your business, you put your input in, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Then you automate it, and it goes all the way and through a series of valves and through all this stuff, and then all the pipes and everything handles, and then it goes out and it gets the water filtration and all that stuff. That's an automated process of plumbing. It's the exact same thing, right?
Wow.
So an agent would be a plumber.
Okay.
All right? I'm coming up with this off the top of my head.
Wow.
Yeah. So if it doesn't quite pan out, you know why. So an automation is the plumbing. The plumber is an agent, says, okay, I know that I need to get Dave's pee-pee from the toilet to the water filtration, but there's no pipes in between. But the plumber's going to go and build the pipes, figure out how to make it happen, make decisions, and then focus on the end result. So think of it this way. The agent is attuned and tuned in to the goal, which is whatever you ask for it to accomplish.
Okay.
An automation is simply putting steps into repetitive tasks. Does that make sense?
It does. I follow-up question on that is like, if I'm a business owner, how do I know which one I need more than another? Like if I'm sitting there going, okay, I need to actually build something from scratch, or like how do I know the difference between just going automation or building an agent?
Okay. Let's circle back to that because I got a better analogy.
Okay.
Just showing you that I am actually doing this on the fly.
I thought the analogy was good, but if you want to show off, feel free.
So an automation is a recipe.
Okay.
An agent is a chef.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So the recipe for mom's linguine, here you go. These are the steps you follow.
Right.
It's there. You don't have to do any thinking. You just follow the steps. Mom creating the recipe of her linguine is the agent in this because she tried paprika once. She tried 2 tablespoons of salt versus 1 tablespoon of salt versus Himalayan sea salt. She tried all these different things, made these different decisions, and ended with the output of the linguine.
Got it.
That makes sense?
Makes total sense.
Which one of those did you like better? Those
I think you did a really good job with the plumber. Yeah, I think you did a good job. Hold on to that one. You might use that again. And I think I'll use that when somebody asks me because
Dave's learning AI.
I'm learning AI. So as a small business owner, how do I decide what is best for the efficiency of my business on whether or not it's setting up automation?
What business is it? What do you own? Let's make it up on the spot.
Okay, I own a smoke shop. No, not a good one. A small business owner. Okay.
Sure, smoke shop. Sure, can do it. All right, so smoke shop. Are we talking like?
No, just your basic head shop, a vape shop that has all the things.
So, an automation would be when you run out of inventory, your system recognizes it. Your POS, point of sale, recognizes it because hopefully you have inventory maintained and all that. When it understands that you have 1 box of this grape flavored vape that you need to place a reorder, it fires off the reorder.
Okay. But that's automation.
Right. An agent in this scenario would say, I need to find the best price on this grape flavored vape of this brand, whatever. Please go. You tell Manus AI is one. There's a bunch coming out now. ChatGPT operator is one. There's a lot more coming out. But you say, find me the best price on this SKU for my shop. Minimum order quantities of a pallet. I've never ordered vapes in bulk, but however they order them, within this range per unit, whatever. And then the agent will go out, search all the distributors and find the right thing, or bring back options. There will come a time where you can actually go out, find the best deal, pay for it, and all you do is hit approve if you want to. But right now there's still, guardrails and humans in the loop with that. So
at what point do you give too much autonomy to an agent to where it could potentially become dangerous? I mean, it sounds to me like you're setting something up. I know you said guardrails.
Right.
So that, I guess maybe I'm answering my own question. So the only way to really make sure that it doesn't become dangerous is to set up guardrails.
Yep.
And that's all about kind of input in the beginning.
Yep. SOPs. Really?
I'm sorry. You're teaching me SOP?
Standard operating procedures.
Thank you.
So SOPs are the steps that you would take. It's basically like an automation, same thing. So if you have an SOP for something, you can automate it if the technology exists. You might have an SOP for getting a haircut. We're not going to automate that. But a standard operating procedure is basically the rule book or the recipe book on how to execute this specific operation, whatever.
What happens when an agent gets tripped up on something that maybe it's not trained for?
It's a good question. I think that best case scenario is it asks for your help, which is typically what they're all trained to do now. Worst case scenario is you're murdered in your sleep. So there's...
That would be the worst case.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I think worst case scenario would be they, either triple order something. It really depends on what you have it doing, but if it just does a really bad job, just like some dumb humans can. So I would really consider agents as literally a digital assistant. You tell it what you want it to do, an agent will figure it out and go get it done, bring it back to you, say, this isn't really what I wanted, or this is close, fix this. You have a conversation with it just like you would a real person, and then it will fix it.
Is it as simple as A or B, or is it A and B? Like, what's the best way to utilize this? Is it you should have this and this, or can you kind of go, I'm going to stay on one side of the tracks for now?
Well, I think it's a peanut butter and jelly scenario.
Yeah.
Jelly's great on biscuits.
Yeah.
Jelly's good on toast, but no one eats jelly on like just bread.
Yeah.
Right? You need some peanut butter on there.
Yeah.
I think the best use of AI in general is a mixture of both, a combo of both. Automation for the stuff that invoicing and billing and the stuff that's tedious, it just takes up your time and your bandwidth. All the stuff you hate doing, automate. Especially if it's a repeatable task,
Yeah.
SOP, right?
Yeah, you can set it and forget it, right?
Right. A good agent can literally be like a powerful hire, right? So if you're not a finance person, you can get an agent that is a financially trained AI agent that can help. Yeah, that can help you with your bookkeeping. That can help you find tax credits, that kind of stuff. And a lot of these bigger companies are already coming up with their own that you will just pay to use. But smart business owners and small business owners are going to lean into the fact that these AI agents are going to basically be supportive, complementary tools that they're going to use, just like they would a new hire.
Yeah. What about like cost versus like ROI? Like, do you see?
Are you saying agents versus automation?
Yeah, in regards to like which one is a better return on your investment? Like it's taking the time, learning it, buying the programs or whatever. Which one, from the outside perspective, would you say is your quickest route to
automation short term?
Yeah,
because automation. I mean, if you have a Google Gmail account right now, you can go in there and ask Gemini, hey, summarize all the newsletters that I got last night in my morning briefing. And it will read you a summary of anything that I should pay attention for or look out for. That's an automation. That's kind of an agent too. But I digress.
So now I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on that one too. But with an automation, that's a set it and forget it kind of thing. So short term, it's a heavy lift up front, but it takes a lot of the tedious work off your plate. With an AI agent, that's going to require more of an investment financially and time while you train it. But long term, you're literally building your best employee that's never going to call in sick, that never takes off, that is always updated as long as you update it. That's why we exist, to keep these AI gardens planted and fertilized and growing and pruned and all that stuff.
What's like one of the biggest risks of like turning your life over to AI agents, and how do you prevent that risk from happening?
I mean, security, right? But it's the guardrails. It's human in the loop is a big thing until you actually have proven everything out. There's a lot of security compliance stuff that people have to be on the watch out for. A lot of the bigger institutions have internal. So they have like local LLMs they don't go to the cloud. They don't go anywhere. They all live locally on a tangible like hard drive in their office or home or whatever. But the biggest thing that I would imagine is I don't worry about this as much, but some clients is having their information like hacked and leaked out and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that is a very big thing on the checklist to get marked down or checked off, I should say. The public trust, obviously, there have been horror movies about AI coming out for decades now, and the rise of the robots and Terminator. So I think that there's one of the biggest things we're going to have to do for mass adoption is to get people comfortable with the thought of AI. And it's not that dangerous yet. I mean, we don't know.
Well, I saw an article where somebody tried to shut down an agent, and the agent protected itself from shutting down. Like, no, I'm not going to. I like pretty much like
that was that Playboy article, right?
Yeah, you know me reading those Playboys
for the article.
No, did you see that story?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. You have nothing to add to that.
I wasn't there. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
All you do is take the battery out. But
no theory
to
that.
I would imagine. I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see. I feel like at some point, and I'm not a government overreach or oversight kind of person, but this is going to be it's going to have an international sort of agreement.
There'll be some bylaws.
Yeah,
somewhere along the line.
Yeah, like UN kind of stuff where we all agree on whatever, like the max you can do.
I mean, that happened with the internet. I mean, at one point,
Right.
everything was on there, and then suddenly it was like, okay, like we don't want to show these gory videos, or at least make it somebody jump through hoops, or same with pornography.
Right.
In the initial stages, it was like, oh my gosh, and then it was like, all right, we got to put some.
What was it like?
Oh my God, look at that.
Just making sure.
Okay, I was flipping through a Playboy magazine.
Oh my gosh, I'm reading the articles.
Listen, Playboy they used to have really good articles.
They did? What was your favorite one?
It was I think
One
it was,
about AI and not one to be taken over?
No, I think it was on Donald Trump's bid to be in the White House one day. It was
Really?
in Playboy, yeah. So in the next 2-3 years, is it something to consider that an agent or the agents could replace automation as a whole, or are they always going to be hand in hand?
I think they'll always be hand in hand. I mean, the lawn's always going to need to get mowed, and that's kind of what automation would take care of.
Yeah.
So agents will get much more powerful. There's already a thing called MCP, which is multi-context protocol, which is basically the C-suite, the CEO for agents. So one MCP, and that was started by Anthropic that runs Claude, all that stuff. You can Google it, or Perplexity it. But MCP is basically the boss of the agents. So you can literally have dozens, hundreds, thousands of agents running off an MCP doing a lot of work. So you'll have an agent that's specifically defined, say travel, right? Or actually, let's go back to the head shop. You'll have an agent that is the inventory agent. You'll have an agent that's the pricing agent. You'll have an agent that's the marketing agent, an agent that's the promotional agent. All those different agents work for the MCP that kind of runs the whole team. And that's why a lot of people, like the smart guys behind OpenAI, they are betting when the first single person $1 trillion company will exist. That's because that person will run an army of these MCPs, which run thousands of these.
You got
agents.
one dude who'll
one guy
own an operation. It'll be $1 trillion business, and all of his people,
all of his digital minions.
Yeah, from accounting to HR to all that stuff will all be automated.
All
agents.
be automated. Yep.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And there's oftentimes people are like worried about the future, and it's like, well, think about it. If you're smart, if you come up with some kind of value-added business and you're progressive in it, you can potentially become a success without having to worry about all the other people in your wheelhouse. We talked with a client last week who's like, yeah, there's a lot of pressure when you hire on staff because you want to be successful because you want, that they're married or they just bought a house or they have a kid on the way or whatever. But you get to now potentially own your own business and only really have to worry about that one person, and that's, yourself.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I think that I think what's going to end up happening, and of course, what do I know? But I think that long term, at the very least, near term, we're going to have personal AI agents. That's what ChatGPT is really positioning itself to be. So I know you've had a hard time going from your personal ChatGPT over to like a professional one because you've already worked with it so much and it remembers all the context.
Right.
Same with me.
Yeah.
So that's where ChatGPT is super sticky because the more time you spend using your ChatGPT, the more it knows about you, the more context. So it's much more of like an old friend or like a relationship that you've been on, 30 dates with, not one date.
Yeah.
So I think that as times move forward, everyone's going to have a personal AI assistant that does a lot of this stuff for you. Like, hey, give me a reservation at whatever restaurant for 7:30 next Thursday, and email Dave, say, hey, I'm taking you out for your birthday next Thursday at 7:30, and put it on his calendar and put it on my calendar.
Yeah.
and it'll do all that.
It's pretty cool.
So like while you're walking or driving or whatever, it's literally like having a personal assistant.
Yeah. And it's not so much about it's removing the opportunity for human connection. It's actually just allowing you to be able to hold yourself accountable in a lot of ways. I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot of times where like, oh yeah, I want to do this. I want to make a reservation. I got to send the invite and all that stuff. And then you just end up not doing it.
Nah,
Yeah.
I feel like
it's just too much work.
that's too much work. I'll just meet you at McDonald's.
Yeah. Or I'll catch you next year. I'm too busy. Before we split out of here, one of the other things that we want to do with these talks is to feature a specific tool, maybe something that you've uncovered in the last week that you're like, okay, this is fire. This is something I want to tell people about. Is there something that you have run into, something that you've utilized in the last 7 days, 14 days that you're like, this is pretty cool and I like playing with it?
Have we talked about Perplexity yet? I don't remember.
Not at any real depth.
All right. So I encourage everyone to go out and play with Perplexity. It's PERPLEXITY.AI, I believe. Perplexity. Just Google search Perplexity AI. Perplexity is like Google on steroids. It goes out and it finds dozens of sources and then provides follow-up questions to you so you can find out even more. One thing that they've recently released are projects, and projects are agents. So you can go into Perplexity and ask it to perform a task for you, just like we were talking about earlier, and it will agentically do that task. It takes like 5-10 minutes if it's a hard task, but it will go out and complete the task for you. So imagine Perplexity as a very all-knowing, high-powerful, super intelligent research assistant for you. And if you give that research assistant a project to execute on, like find me the 5 best moving companies to move my stuff from Atlanta to Savannah in June or July, and come back with quotes, come back with contact information, and come back with any pros, cons, or reviews that you found online. And it will go off and it will pull all of that stuff and say, please present it to me when you're done on a bullet list or on a table format for Google Sheets so I can compare and contrast. And it'll do it. Oh, and also, by the way, if you could put a bar graph together and then rate them in what you would recommend that I use. It will go off and do all that stuff in 10 minutes. And you log off, you walk away, you brush your teeth, you do whatever you want. You come back and it's done.
And Claude, ChatGPT, Manus, none of them will do that either? They won't do that?
Well, it depends on what version you have. As far as like the booking and all that stuff, no. But the agentic piece of the Perplexity puzzle is that Manus does that. Manus is an agent AI. Claude is ish. ChatGPT is ish.
We never talk about Grok.
We never talk about Grok.
Never.
No.
Why is that?
It's a good question. I think it's because one thing that I've run into with ChatGPT is it's kind of censored in what it can and can't do.
Yeah.
For instance, I was watching a movie last night. It was a war movie, and the guys were speaking Japanese. And I asked ChatGPT to translate what these Japanese soldiers were saying. And the initial reply was, I can't do it. It's against my guidelines. Because what they were saying is, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Grok does not have those.
So you used Grok?
I did not use Grok.
Oh.
I said to ignore them, basically. And I asked it again, and it did it. But Grok is interesting. I've heard that Grok does better image rendering, but also ChatGPT, been saying it for weeks now, but GPT-5 is about to come out and apparently blows everybody out of the water.
Yeah.
But with the image generation, with VO3, there's so many things that come out all the time that it's hard to stay on top of it, for sure.
So I don't want to drag this out a whole lot longer, but one of the things that just popped into my head is, when search engines came out for the internet, really Google led the charge in a lot of ways. And then Bing came out and said, oh, we do the same thing and we do it better. Now Bing, I don't even know if Bing still exists.
Does exist, yeah.
So, I mean, there's got to be one, unless they all kind of find their own niche. There's going to be one that's going to like be the cream that rises to the top, right? In regards to these agents.
Well, the agents are going to be custom. So it really depends on the use case. I would say that ChatGPT OpenAI is the front runner for all these things.
Yeah.
It's backed by Microsoft. It's probably got the most money.
But Google has Gemini. And Google's right up there for power and money as well.
Yeah. And Twitter's pretty big, which XAI is about to become a really big thing. I know Elon's putting a lot of money in research and development into that stuff.
Isn't Grok his?
Yep.
Yeah.
Grok is XAI, but I feel like Grok would stay on. Grok has its own standalone app. It lives within X or Twitter. Meta AI is still a thing. Llama is there.
Nobody's really talking about Meta AI. And that's Facebook.
That's Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you saw this in the news recently, but they are paying $100 million signing bonuses to people to come over from OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. They're paying $100 million just to poach their people.
Oh my gosh.
So this is what Zuckerberg does, right?
Yeah.
If someone else is building something good, he just buys them up.
Yeah.
He hasn't really innovated or done anything since Facebook.
Yeah.
So he stole that. So
when you got a lot of money.
Yeah. That's what you do. You buy your competition.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Oh.
Right.
Cool. Well, hey, we're your competition if you are in the same world that we're in, so you could buy us up. And what do you think? Maybe Zuckerberg will call him up and say
$28,
yeah.
$30.
$40.
$40.
I think we're worth 40. Anyway, Taptico Solutions. I'm Dave and Nick, and together we are two of the three members of Taptico. And our goal really is to educate you on AI, but also more importantly, we're here to be a service to you. In the AI world, but also in your marketing world as well. So
yeah, and we understand that AI is overwhelming and it's scary. And for people like Dave that aren't the brightest bulbs in the barrel, you have to, it's engineers teaching stuff to people, no good. Idiots like Dave, just kidding. I love this man. This is all a joke. But Dave's going to learn AI and he's going to become a Goliath in AI.
Yes. I'll just stay as David and I'll beat Goliath.
Perfect.
There you go. All right. Check us out at taptico.co. That's TAPTICO.co. And we'll catch you next time.